Welcome to your Phil Steele Plus tour with selections. And I will have 3 selections for you. There's only 10 games this weekend. I'll have 3 selections for you to get your season started off, and they're absolutely free. You know, the main purpose of this is to show all my Phil Steele Plus members how to best use the site. There is just so much information on Phil Steele Plus. It's all the information I use to handicap the games, and I figured if I set it up where I can access all this information for myself, why not allow other folks to access it? And if you're an Inside the Press Box subscriber, you get Phil Steele Plus for free. Make sure you utilize it. Now, a couple things I want to talk to you about. First of all, football is back, and it sure looks like we're going to play the season right now. And I think we're playing a full season. If we got 76 teams playing out the entire year, we have a champ at the end of the year. Heck, the SEC teams are playing 10 games. I think we will have a true national champion at the end of the year. You know, 8 of the 10 guys that I had selected for my Heisman finalists this year are all playing. The only playoff team that's not playing is Ohio State. So I think we've got ourselves a heck of a football season coming up. 10 games this weekend. And once again, I want to show you how to use the site. Now, a couple interesting things to point out. Normally, if you're out and about looking, and maybe you haven't bought your Phil Steele magazine yet. Maybe you were thinking, hey, I don't know if we're going to play football. Well, football's here. We're going to play football. Now you're saying I got to go get my Phil Steele magazine. Well, it's not everywhere like it has been in the past. We usually print a couple 100,000 of these things. We put them in grocery stores, Walmarts, all over the country. Not this year. We only printed 50,000, very limited quantity, and I just showed you where they're at. Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. Now, you can, of course, get them on philsteele.com. There's going to be a slight delay because we've got to put them in the mail. It's got to go through the post office to get to you. So your best bet, head out to your Barnes & Noble. Head out to your Books A Million. Pick up your magazine today. Now, if you've already picked up your magazine today, I've got an interesting blog up today, and it's about how to best utilize your magazine. Now, I use my magazine all football season long, and I need updated schedules. Well, it's pretty easy to update your magazine with the schedules for this year. Here's the blog we put up today. And by the way, if you go to philsteele.com, just check out your daily blogs. I'm putting up more than a daily blog. Sometimes we're putting up 3 or 4 blogs in a day. But right here, free schedule updates with some suggestions. And here's what I want to point out. I printed off the latest LSU page right here and just pasted over my magazine. As you can tell, it's flawless. It's the right size. It fits perfect. I used a glue stick and a pair of scissors, slapped the thing on the page. Took me about 10, 15 seconds to do so, maybe even 20 seconds. And now my LSU page is up to date with the current schedule, and it's all in there. Now, Katie Tumbleson here on Twitter was the first one to post a picture of a magazine with all the updates. We've printed off 76 schedules up on philsteele.com. Katie went and took all 76 schedules, put them in her magazine, and this is what it looks like with the 76 schedules full. Thank you, Katie, for being a loyal follower to the magazine. Thank you for updating your magazine completely and the first one to do it. And I will tweet out pictures of folks that have updated their magazines. I'd like to see what they look like. Now, this is a pretty thick book, was my first thing when I looked at it. So here would be my suggestion. The American Conference, the CUSA, and the Sun Belt have basically kept their schedules about the same as they were. A couple of minor changes. I don't know if you need to go in and actually paste up those schedules. But if you do have to paste up schedules, I would say do the SEC, do the ACC, and even the Big 12. We've had date changes. The ACC canceled some opponents, brought in some other opponents. The SEC added 2. I took my book here, and this is my LSU page, and I put in those 3 conferences. And as you can tell, it's a very manageable book with the 3 full conferences put in. And it actually strengthens the pages. So you know how you use these pages all football season long. You're writing in them. You're using the magazine. It actually strengthens your magazine. So if you want to put 3 conferences in, this is what your book will look like. If you want to put all the conferences in, this will be what your book like. And right here in today's blog, we've got all the conferences listed for you. So you click on the American Conference, and we now have them posted 2 up. That way it saves you money. You only have to print off 1 page, get you 2 teams. This has their complete schedule for the year. and it gives you all the angles. Now, if they added a team, we've put that opponent in here. We've added the angles in here. So here's Cincinnati, East Carolina, Houston, Memphis. You can hit print. Make sure you're on a PDF. I tried it on my computer, and it came out with some funky type style and didn't look readable. Make sure you download the PDF and then print your PDF. That's your best thing to do. And if you do so, you get it in full color. You can paste it on your page, and it's all done. And like I said, my recommendation, get the SEC pages like this, which their season starts September 26th. Paste them on your pages. Get the updated Big 12. And as you can tell, there has been some changes. You go to Oklahoma, they were playing Bedlam on the final game of the season. Now they're playing them on the 21st. Here is your complete schedule for Oklahoma this year. And then, of course, the ACC, which includes Notre Dame. And, the ACC. Did I click on the wrong one? There it is. There's the ACC. I clicked on the wrong one. There's your ACC teams. Clemson, of course, the favorite to win the ACC, all the way down the line. And we even included Notre Dame on this one. There is Notre Dame. And if you're looking for the other independents, they're right here under independents. And we even included Air Force. Air Force playing a smaller schedule this year. So they're up there as well. So all that's available for you right here on philsteele.com. You can click, download the PDF, print it off, and just paste it in your magazine. Do 3 conferences, do all the conferences. Your book can look like this, or your book can look like this. And do not forget to get to Books A Million and Barnes & Noble and get your magazine right now and get it up to date. We're playing football this year, guys. All right, so that's the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. That's available right now, all your team pages. Print them off and get them done. If you want your team pages up to date, here's something else you can do. Go to the front page of philsteele.com right here and go to FBS Info. And what we have for you, if you come down here, look under Injuries and Transfers. And when you go to Injuries and Transfers and click on it, these are all the players that you either need to add to your page or circle on your page. There's been some changes. We put the magazine out July 8th. We captured a lot. But look here. Colin Schooler, the linebacker for Arizona, is signed at Texas Tech. So you could circle him. You don't really need to circle him in your Arizona one, but he is here at Texas Tech. So put him on that page. He's down here, a grad transfer. And since he's a grad transfer, he'll be able to play. We'll get these 4 at the bottom sorted in so they fit. The bold ones are the starters, like D'Angelo Gibbs is opted out. Emmett Gooden is opted out. Southern Miss linebacker Rakeem Booth, cornerback Showers, defensive lineman Turner, wide receiver Adams. You could just go through and do the bold ones, which are the starters. A lot of these other ones in the backups, if you look, they might be the 3rd or 4th stringers. So go in and get your bold ones for starters. It tells you whether to circle them over here or to add them to your page. So that's if they've got a new transfer, it says add. If you circle them, then just circle them on your page. That's what I do in my magazine, and it really helps out. Now, this will be updated. This is updated as of yesterday. We're going to keep updating it every day. So if you want to check in, we'll have that for you. And we tell you the date that was updated out here as well. That way you can keep up to date with all the latest there. So do make sure you get the players circled in your magazine. Now, let's talk a little bit about how to use the website. And let's start with an FCS game. Let's go take a look at UAB playing Central Arkansas for starters. So we're going to click on one side. We're going to click on FBS Info. And if you're a Phil Steele Plus member, you have access to these team pages. So let's go click on UAB, which is in the CUSA. We'll click on them, put them over here. And over on this side, we will go to the FCS team. Let's go back to the home page here. Oops, wrong way to go. Let's go to the home page. And we will go to FCS Info, team pages, and we will put Central Arkansas here. Now, Central Arkansas, let me see. All right, here's this one. We'll move this one over a little bit, make it more readable for you. There we go. There it is. Here's Central Arkansas last year. Now, Braylon Smith, pretty good quarterback. Had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, but did lead the game-winning drive last week against Austin Peay. Last year, he hit 64% with a 32-16 ratio, so pretty good QB. When you look at Central Arkansas this year coming in, they do have a game under their belt, but it was just on Saturday, and now they're playing again tonight on a Thursday. So that's one thing to look at. And last year, their defense gave up 404 yards per game. They were playing Austin Peay in the opener. A couple things I want to point out here. Austin Peay was missing their long snapper, didn't make the trip. Their top wide receiver, D'Angelo Wilson, didn't make the trip. And their quarterback from last year, Javon Craig, who hit 57% with a 28-13 ratio, didn't play. Now, Oatsfall had a good game, gutsy quarterback, but he only hit 48% last year, and I believe in the opener he was slightly under 50% in the opener as well. So not quite the passing quarterback that last year's Javon Craig was. So I do want to point that out for Austin Peay from the opener. But there's with Central Arkansas, you have this type of access for you. You want to see the individual player stats, what each player did last year. It's all up there, each game, all the way through on Central Arkansas and the previous year as well. If you want to look at 2018, it's up there. If you want to go back to 2017, 2016. And the Phil Steele Plus is color-coded green and red. You see the green numbers? Those are all better than average numbers. The red numbers are below average numbers. And if they're in black, it's just an average number. Green out here means they won the game. Red means they lost the game. So you can tell at a glance. Look at this. They had a great season here. Here they dropped back a little bit. And then last year, 2019, they only lost 4 games, made it to the playoffs, played Illinois State. You take this back. If you're looking for information on the FCS, all the way back to 2010, we've got this information for game by game, so you can become an instant expert on the FCS by doing that. Now, here's UAB. You've got the magazine, so you're already an expert on UAB. But Spencer Brown's back. Remember last year, Spencer Brown 2 years ago had rushed for 1,230. Last year he was banged up, only rushed for 565. He should be healthy. I look for Spencer Brown to be back to full force. They've got Tyler Johnson is back at QB, which is a big plus for them. It's hitting 59% last year. The majority of the receivers are back. A good part of their defense is back. In fact, UAB goes from number 127 in my experience chart all the way up to number 3. And the last 4 times they've played an FCS foe, they have won those games by 28 points per game. Now, they'll be on card for this because Central Arkansas upset Western Kentucky last year. That was a shocker for Western Kentucky. So I got to think UAB will be prepared. And if you check out your magazine, you know that this is available on each magazine page. You recognize this from UAB right in the magazine. Complete spread records. So let's see how UAB's done as a home favorite under Bill Clark. 4-1-1 last year, 4-1 the year before, 2-0-1 in 17. So since they've come back from their 2-year hiatus, they are 10-2-1 as a home favorite. And look at this. When you're looking at the team page, look at their home records last year. 32-13, the average win at home. They outgained opponents by 161 yards per game. On the road, they were outscored by 11 points per game. They were outgained on the road. So they're a much better team at home than they are on the road. And all that leads me up to liking UAB. Now, right now, the latest line on this game is 19.5. I would lay 21, maybe even a little bit more. I like UAB to win this one by 24. So get it now while it's 19.5. I know Central Arkansas won their opening game with that late touchdown drive. But first play, your first official play for the Phil Steele Plus Tour, we're going to take UAB and we're going to lay the 19.5. That's tonight's game. Here it is, Thursday football. It's got it right for you, so make sure you check that out. All right, a couple other things we want to talk to you about before I get to your next plays. I want to show you how to use the NFL part of this. And I realize there's no NFL games this week, but the NFL is playing this year. And when you go to a team page in the NFL, heck, let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's the Chiefs team page. You can get the individual stats from last year. You see that right there. You can get the games color-coded red and green. Did you know? I know everybody's enamored with the Chiefs' finish last year, but at one point last year, they were 6-4. If you check out the individual player stats, you could see that Patrick Mahomes missed these games, Green Bay, Minnesota, and he was injured against Denver. You could see here that off the bench, Matt Moore came in and hit 10 of 19 passes in that game. All this is available at your fingertips on every NFL team, and not just for 2019, but 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013. We're going a long way back, guys. 2009. All the way back to 2009, color-coded red and green. Red means bad stats, green means good. And this is all at your access with Phil Steele Plus. So make sure you utilize this to its fullest. Something else I want to point out to you here. Take a look at the 2020 schedules. They're all in there. Do you want to know how Kansas City has done against Houston? Let's click on it. Here, The Chiefs in 2019 actually played Houston twice. They lost during the regular season, won in the playoffs, 51-31. They had beaten Houston in 17, and here's 16, 15, 13. The last 20 years matchups at your fingertips for every NFL game. Just go to the schedule part here and click on it. How's Kansas City done against New England? They won last year after losing by 3 and losing by 6 the previous 2 years. But overall, a pretty good record against the mighty New England Patriots. In fact, they're 5-4 the last 9 meetings since 2005. Not too many teams have a winning record against the Patriots in that span. You want to know how they do against a division rival like the LA Chargers? There you go. You can see it. And as you can see, it's been pretty much all KC since 2014. This color over here indicates whether they covered. So if it's in green, that means they covered the game. As you can tell here, they won by 7, laying 4.5. And if it is in red, that means they did not cover the game. Here they lost by 1, and they were minus 3.5. So all that's available on every team. Utilize these during the season if you want to see how they've done. How have Kansas City done against Baltimore? Kansas City has won the last 3 against Baltimore, including last year, 33-28. The black number here indicates a push, which they were minus 5, and they won the game by 5. So all that's at your fingertips. I thought I'd show you how to use that. And we also have put out, I just thought I'd mention this to you real quick. On the homepage, if you go there, you look under Daily Blogs. Here's our NFL Workbook blog. In the NFL Workbook, it's $28. That includes shipping. Because, I mean, it costs $8.50 to ship. So we're really charging $19, 19 something for the magazine. But you get 3 full pages on every NFL team. Here's what you get. If you want to have a workbook for the season, this gives you the complete records at your fingertips, including leaders since 2000. So you've got 2000 all the way up. Let me move this up the page a little bit so we can get that on there. And down here, it tells you who the coach was, what their record was, what their stats were, who the leading passer, leading rusher, leading receiver. This is all at your fingertips since 2000 on every NFL team. That's one page in this scorebook. Let's take a look at another page in the scorebook. And this one, you guys are going to say looks familiar. It looks just like the magazine page, doesn't it? Except it's got a little bit more in-depth spread records here. It gives you the last 5 years. Look at this. Gives you over-under spread records, gives you against the spread records, and gives you a schedule. You can keep track and mark in, hey, you can tell at a glance, hey, they're 4-0 on the road this year against the spread. They're 4-0 against the AFC or 0-2 against the NFC. You can fill that in. Here's your stat leaders, just like is in the magazine. Spread records, over-unders. It's all in there. That's a second page that's on every NFL team. Your third page that's on every NFL team this year is this one. Now, this is what you can find on Phil Steele Plus. That's exactly what you get on Phil Steele Plus. This statistical game by game, the individual leaders. But if you want to see it in book form, there it is. So 3 full pages on every team, 122, 124 pages, something like that. It's all there. All you have to do is go to the blog will get you there. And if you can go here and go to the store. And when you go to the store, just come down here. Click on the workbook. It says 2025. In reality, it's like $19.75 plus the $8.50 in shipping, but the shipping pops up $7.75 and makes it the $28. So you could order that today. We'll ship it out today. And the other beautiful thing, I have mine, and mine's always on 70-pound paper, which is really thick paper that's going to last. I put this year's on 70-pound paper. In the past years, we put it on 20-pound paper, but this year it's on 70-pound paper, and it will last. So I think you'll enjoy that. So that's how to use the NFL. Oh, one thing also I wanted to point out, we do have a couple of blogs up there for the NFL already. If you click on Daily Blogs, let's take a look here. Let me go back to the home page. Okay, click back. Go to the NFL Info Store Magazine account. All right, well, we have daily... Let me just go back here. Back one. And there's the store. Here's our homepage right here. All right, so we've got NFL Workbook. Toughest schedules updated. That's that one. But Blog Archive has got NFL slipping and sliding. Finding value in the YPG. I like this one a lot. And what it shows you, this one shows you is, as an example, the Dallas Cowboys last year actually outgained opponents by 104 yards per game, but they were 8-8. That's more speaking of a team that went 13-3 on the year, so they're up there. And then the Green Bay Packers last year went 13-3. They were minus 30.1 points per game. And to bear that out, once again, I just want to show you the NFL team page real quick. All this information available for every NFL team. Let's go to Dallas and take a quick look at them, and you will see at a glance. Look under this yards per game, plus 104 yards per game on the season, and then you can see right here, they outgained every opponent. There's no red in here. There's one. Philadelphia outgained them in Week 15. Other than that, they outgained every opponent. This gives you an average game grade, by the way, on every one, just like we do for the college. Here's your average game grade that they play at all season long. And once again, everything color-coded red and green. You can see they struggled a little bit against pass D, struggled a couple of times running the ball. I wonder if Ezekiel Elliott was out in those games. Let's take a look. Ezekiel Elliott played all season, so no, he was not. And that gives you up to date on NFL. All right, we talked enough of the NFL. Let's get back to college football and show you how to use these pages. And let's take a look at a game that's coming up early. And we're going to take a look at another game that involves an FCS school. We're going to take a look at North Texas against Houston Baptist. So let's take a look at that one as your second selection. Now, this one I don't have a line for yet, but I'm going to give you my forecast on it, and I think the forecast will cover the line on the game if you get my meaning on that one. All right, so here's North Texas. Now, North Texas had been doing well. I mean, look at this. They started out the season well. And one thing I want to point out about North Texas, if you look at their wins the last 2 years, 9 of their 12 have been by big margins. These two are close, but they won by 24, they won by 23, they won by 40, they won by 27, they won by 42, they won by 26. Over here, they won by 26, they won by 42, they won by 20. So the majority of their wins are 20-plus. Seth Luttrell likes to put it on an opponent when he has the opportunity. So your question is, will he have the opportunity against Houston Baptist? Now, Houston Baptist has some players back this year. Bailey Zappi is back at QB, 35-15 ratio. And they do have some players back on D. They've got a couple of key players back here in the skill position, so they are going to be a stronger team. But here's what I want to show you on Houston Baptist. Look at his defense last year. This defense gave up 508, 640, and they're not playing FBS foes. They're playing FCS foes, giving up 496 yards per game. For the most part, they were giving up red. If you take away this Texas Wesleyan game, that's well over 500 yards per game. That's not good. In fact, if taking out the Texas Wesleyan, which is not an FCS school, against FCS foes last year, they allowed foes 133 yards per game above their season average. That was number 122 in the FCS. Their defense figures to be better, but I don't know if it's going to be ready for the onslaught that North Texas has. Now, North Texas did lose Mason Fine, but the pressure's on Seth Luttrell. They need to get this thing going and going quickly this year. They do have some talent coming back at North Texas in a must-win situation year for Seth Luttrell, and he has taken over the play calling, so you know he's going to put it on there. They've got Jason Bean and Austin Ane at QB. Siggers and Torrey at the running back are both back. At receiver, they've got Darden and Shorter. As you can look up above, you see the stats for the season. And defensively, they've got a good amount of players returning as well. So I think North Texas needs to win this game. They're at home. In the last 3 years at home, they're 15-3 straight up. They have been overpriced a little bit, but coming off a 4-7 season, maybe this team's going to be underpriced. And two games I want to point out. Abilene Christian. North Texas beat Abilene Christian by 20 points. They played Abilene Christian as well. Houston Baptist did. They lost by 25. That's a 46-point difference. The other mutual opponent that these two teams had last year was UTEP. Houston Baptist did give UTEP a good game, only lost by 2. They were outgained by 95 yards. But North Texas beat UTEP by 26. I think the number is going to be around 3 touchdowns on this game. So I like North Texas to get the win. They beat a UTEP by 26. They had a 201-yard edge. Pressure's on. Yes, Mason Fine is gone, but Seth Luttrell knows how to develop QBs, and I think he will be able to get that done this year. So your second inside the press box play is to take North Texas minus the points over Houston Baptist. And a little bit more on these pages. When you get Phil Steele Plus, you get the last 20 years leaders right here at your fingertips. So you could tell who the leading one. Mason Fine, of course, has been the leading quarterback the last 2 years. The thing I love is right here, the last 40 years results. Now, North Texas, if they were in here, they were Division 1A here, it would go all the way back 40 years. In fact, let's go take a look at a team like LSU. and with the defending national champs, SEC, LSU, and last 40 years results. Look at this, all the way back to 1976. So if you have a question, hey, when's the last time LSU was this big of a favorite or this small of a dog? Look, 2019 updated, 18. And here's another interesting thing. We've got totals in here dating back to 2004 when they became a big part of the game. Actually, here's overrun as well. Here's your totals right here. Total on the game, and then this gives you halftime scores. Look at this, 2004. What was the halftime score of the game? It's right here on every game since 2004. I wish I had room to put this in the magazine, these halftime scores, because they're so valuable. Look, LSU beat Georgia Southern last year 42-3 at half and 55-3. So they put their offense away in the second half. You could tell what the scores were at the half and then what the final score of the game was on every game. Dating back to 2004, get any score back to 1976, and that is with the spread. It's all available at your fingertips on Phil Steele Plus. So Phil Steele Plus, by the way, just $69 to sign up for Phil Steele Plus. If you have an interest, if you'd like to sign up and you haven't done so already, just come over here, go to the store, and when you go to the store right here, Phil Steele Plus, $69 for the year. But if you sign up to my newsletter inside the press box, you get it for free. That's right. Inside the press box gives you Phil Steele Plus for free. And I'm going to give you some discounts. Here's the price right now. If you want college only for the regular season, it's $149. If you want NFL for the regular season, it's $149. If you want my NFL and college bundle, now that gets you everything, all the way through the Super Bowl, college, pro, everything, that's $249. But I've got a little discount for you because you're watching this tour today, taking the tour. I'm going to give you your discounts on this. All you have to do, you go to put in the code football is back. And thank God football's back, huh, guys? I mean, I can't imagine what football would it be like in the fall without football. If you put in the code football is back when you purchase either the college or the NFL, it's going to give you $20 off. So instead of paying the $149, you pay just $129. I give you a complete write-up on every game that's out there. And I give you also computer forecasted scores for the game. It's all up there. It's all in Inside the Press Box. Best bets each week, that's in Inside the Press Box. NFL, same thing. In the NFL regular season, 16 weeks, $149. Take $20 off if you type in football is back. But what I'm going to do for you today, real quick, if you sign up for Inside the Press Box, if you're for the season, Inside the Press Box college regular season is $149. Inside the Press Box NFL regular season is $149. Inside the Press Box college and pro postseason is $89. And if you sign up for the Phil Steele Plus, it's $69. You add those four together, it's $456. Now, I still consider that a pretty good value, but I'm going to give you a much better price on that today. If you sign up and type in the code Elite Member, I'll give you $50 off our bundle price. And what the NFL and college bundle includes is all of the college, all of the NFL, all of the postseason, and Phil Steele Plus for free. That's $69 right there. It's normally $249, but if you type in Elite Member, that's Elite Member, I'll give you $50 off when you purchase the bundle, and you get it for $199. So for $199, you get my college regular season, NFL regular season, postseason, both college and pro, and Phil Steele Plus, all for just $199. So just go to the store, click on here, the bundle, put in your code Elite Member, and get it all for $199. Let's take a look at that last game as promised. And we're going to take a look at SMU playing Texas State. And this is going to allow me to show you a little bit about Inside the Press Box as well. So let's go ahead and put SMU, or it's at Texas State. So I'm going to put Texas State on the right. And this is what I do every time I line up a game. I put the home team on the right, and here's Texas State. And I'm going to put SMU over here, and I'm going to put them on the left of the game. So once again, all this information at your fingertips. Now, naturally, once the season starts, we'll have the updated 2020 stats. Nobody's played, so I'm just going to go back to the 2019 stats. When you go back there, here's what we have. These two teams played last year. Did you know that? Let me show you what I wrote about it inside the press box last year. Right here. Here's an Inside the Press Box write-up from last year. An exact write-up what we had. SMU was a 17-point favorite. I made it a best bet. I had SMU winning the game 40-16, and here's the reason why. Complete reasoning on the game. Talked about Shane Buechele. Talked about Reggie Roberson. Juco Gress Jensen, how he's doing, but the 2-4 ratio concerned me. And the fact that I had used SMU the previous week on press box pages, and they clubbed North Texas. I had them winning this game 40-16, and they were a 17.5-point favorite. This is a small part of the page, what you get inside the press box, but it's really the part I think everybody reads. What's the forecast? What's the computer say? And as you could tell, the computer had the game 39-15, so it had them by 24 points, and the line was 17. Computer had a big yardage judge, 475 to 295 in the game. How'd the game turn out? Well, guess what? SMU won the game. SMU won the game by 47-17 last year. So that's a good part. And by the way, when you go on here, once again, if you want to know how the teams have done and look at the schedule, they hadn't played. But if you go up here now, let me check. Oh, this will be loaded in very soon. We'll have the schedules loaded in, so you could click on your opponent for the year. It'll be up to date probably within the week. But come back down here, you could click on the box score of the game and see how the game was played. And as you can see, SMU won the game 47-17, 23-15 first down edge. Here's how the scoring went. Sweating it out a little bit at halftime at 13-3, but then they poured it on at the end and won 47-17. Now, right now, SMU about a 21.5 point favorite for the game. The thing I look at it with North Texas, their defense gave up 417 yards per game, gave up 639 to SMU last year. Shane Buechele is back. Reggie Roberson, if you look under the statistical leaders from last year, Reggie Roberson was actually leading the team in receptions at this point. Then he got injured and was out for the year. That's why he finished number 2. James Prochet got all his yards. Well, he had a lot of yards prior, but then he took over the lead and finished number 1 receiver last year. So really their number 1 receiver last year was Reggie Roberson up until the part he got injured here against Houston. That's why I find these individual stats so useful on philsteele.com. And once again, I mean, if you want to know 2018 individual stats, go back and click on it. It's there for you on philsteele.com. You want to go back and look at a year from 2012? There it is. There's all your individual stats updated for you. You want to know how SMU's done in the last 40 years? Let's go up and take a quick look. And this is showing you how to use these team pages to their fullest. I don't want you not getting everything at your fingertips. There it is since 76. Here's where they went on the death penalty. How about that? And then it was turmoil since the death penalty all the way down to here. And take a look here. 2-1. They had one winning record here in 1997, 6-5. No winning records here. June Jones got them to 8-5. 1, 2, 5, and then look at the job Sonny Dykes has done. It gives you the coaches right here, which I find valuable. Dykes came in 18, got him to 5-7, then 10-3. Chad Morris did get him to 7-6 and 17, and that gives you that. So add it all up, you got SMU. I think that their offense likes to score. They did well for me last year, winning the game 47-17. As we saw, they'll score in the second half if they need to. And I'm going to take SMU minus the points over North Texas. A Inside the Press Box winner last year. Let's hope we got ourselves a Phil Steele Plus Tour winner this year. So there you go. I've got a tour. I hope I showed you how to use the FCS pages, the FBS pages, the NFL pages, and gave you a discount, a $50 discount off our season price for the bundle. So hopefully you take advantage of that. Don't forget, get your magazine. Take advantage of those free schedules. They're up there. Paste them in your magazine. You need one glue stick and a pair of scissors and a full-color printer, and your magazine will be looking like new. Make sure you check that out. And I'd like to say thank you for taking the Phil Steele Plus Tour with me today. I'll have it for you each and every week. Try to have it up for you as early as Thursdays each week. And have yourself a great one. Thank you for being a Phil Steele Plus Tour watcher today.